This episode, titled Connor's Wedding, was arguably one of the most important episodes in the history of Succession, and us as the audience in true Succession style were played. In an episode which we were led to believe was going to be about Logan Roy going off to meet with Madsson to discuss the deal, and also focusing on Connor getting married to Willa, it turned out that it was far darker and consequential. I'm not going to say much more before the spoiler warning, so let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this episode. So let's get into it. Here is Succession Season 4 Episode 3 Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Episode 3 was something that most definitely pulled the wool over our eyes and led us into a false sense of security. Not at any point in the opening moments of the episode were we expecting Logan to die, and we didn't expect him to die in the unexpected fashion, only a couple of days after his birthday. But this is something that I think the show actually handled really well. Rather than them making a huge event out of his death with it occurring in the season finale and making it as large and loud as the personality of Logan Roy, they did the opposite. The creators made it intimate, a situation where helpless panic was present because Logan was 30,000 feet up in the air and the siblings were out at sea, and they treated it how death actually occurs in reality. Unexpectedly, you don't wake up thinking you're going to die, and Logan certainly didn't that day. We saw that prior to boarding the plane, he was ordering Roman to fire Jerry and planning on working on getting Madsson to stop playing hard when it came to the deal. But death is something that creeps up on all of us, even the elite like Logan Roy, and when your time comes, there's no escaping it. It was a moment that really did provide the panic and helpless nature that was present. I would even argue that the show allowed the scene to play out in a way that made you question if it was actually real or not. We weren't shown his face or body at all for a long while whilst Tom was on the phone to the siblings, and it did actually make me question if this was a dark, twisted thing that Logan was doing. As we know, he's fully capable of the harshest kind of manipulation, but it was only once we got a shot down at his face that we saw that it was actually true, and Logan Roy was in fact dead and no more. Let's break the rest of the video down by the main characters. Roman started the episode, and it seemed as though he was going to be going behind Shiv and Kendall's back following the end of the second episode where Logan recruited him. We saw that he was well and truly back under his father's wing and being manipulated due to being ordered to fire Jerry, which was something that we did see occur, and something which I do feel could be detrimental in the future. We heard Kendall say how he wanted to let both his siblings know that they should watch their behavior because things could be turned against them in the future based on the way that they acted. So I do wonder if Jerry is going to spin the firing into a different type of story. Roman was judging his father the last time that he spoke to him, and it was something that was definitely playing on his mind. He didn't want to fire Jerry, and he was also disappointed with the fact that Logan wasn't going to be going to Connor's wedding, which is what led to the tone of the last voicemail that he sent to him. When Roman found out that his father was dying, we saw him exhibit a similar response to his siblings. He stepped away, broke down, and it was very quick and easy for him to tell his father that he loved him. However, there was a sense of not really knowing what to say, especially when it came to telling his father that he did a good job, knowing that he couldn't lie. Roman was definitely the most expressive when it came to the emotions that he felt towards his father in the feeling numb, sad, and like a mess. The others didn't really go as far as saying that. However, there was a sense of facing his father right at the end of the episode, and despite being the younger sibling, he had the bravery to go on his own to see his father as he got carried out of the plane when no others could. I think we could potentially see the de-spiraling of Roman. He was close to his father even in their times of separation, so I do wonder how he will act moving forward. Shiv. I thought Shiv handled the news of her father's death in a way that was so well done. It genuinely made me feel emotional watching her grieve for her father in his dying moments, and the upset that she had due to not being able to speak to him. We saw her almost regress to a childlike state when on the phone, calling him daddy and saying that she loved him, and begging him not to leave. But we did see her eventually have some sense of forgiveness in letting go of the weight and burden of his actions, highlighting how meaningless grudges can be, feeling as if you can always find an opportunity to let them go in the future. But life is unpredictable, and that opportunity may never arrive. We saw Shiv handle the response to the public following her father's death and state that all three of the siblings will still be at the wheel during the transitional period. so I feel she will be leading the impending conflict that is most likely going to be occurring over the following few episodes, and I imagine they're going to be clashing with the board. Kendall. Kendall had a powerful response to finding out the news of his father dying. He started by saying, "We love you, Dad," but he then changed the "we" to "I," something which showed that he did still have the sense of care within him for his father, but not enough to be able to say that he forgave him in his final moments. It felt as if all he could do was say that he loved him, because he had nothing else to say. He didn't know what to do. After Logan had died, we saw Kendall take the lead in the siblings' emotions, and remind them that they need to be in control and at the forefront of the narrative that was going to be played out. We even saw him question just handing in the crown, going through with the sale and then being done, to which Roman responded by saying that he felt as though he couldn't do anything at the moment, something which showed that Kendall was slightly detached when compared to the others. Even right down to the end, everything he had pent up inside of him about his father was something that prevented him going with Roman to be able to see Logan one final time, instead choosing to look on at a distance as he was carried down. Connor's involvement in the news being shared about his father's death was something that was very appropriate for the character. The forgotten child wasn't even amongst his siblings as his father was dying. He never got the opportunity to speak on the phone, and he was most definitely an afterthought. We saw Connor trying to make the wedding perfect, but more specifically, the cake. And I feel as though he was doing this because he wanted his father to be proud of him on his wedding day and for everything to be perfect. But Logan was never going to be going, highlighting that he spent the entirety of his life fighting for his father's attention only to be ignored. The right thing to do at that moment would be to cancel the wedding and not go through with it, but the fear that Willa would leave him was something that was present. He's genuinely grown to care about Willa, and he craves the love from her that he said he's learned to live without. But in the end, we saw that he ended up going through with the wedding with only a handful of people, showing just how much of an outsider he actually is. Overall review. I thought this episode was a really good one. I was impressed with how they handled the death of Logan Roy, and the performances from all of the characters was exceptional. The emotions that were emitted and the feelings that it even made me feel were ones that I didn't expect when going into this episode. Tom is clearly fearful, and I would also say that the future of the company is something that is going to be interesting to see. There's nobody for the siblings to be mad at anymore, so I do wonder how that will change the dynamic. Kerry was acting particularly strange in the episode, so I'm intrigued to see what her involvement is going to be in the show moving forward, or if that is just her done. Because I feel there was a lot of setting up for the character, so it would feel weird if she stopped appearing as much. I'm looking forward to next week's episode where we'll see the repercussions of Logan's death and what exactly is going to happen to Waystar, whose share price has now plummeted. So, there you have it, Succession Season 4 Episode 3 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.